Welcome to the Scam Economy with your host, Matt Bender.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Scam Economy post show late night edition. This is like the old Conan O'Brien slot. I have no idea who comes on after Jimmy Fallon nowadays. Who is it? Oh, it's Seth Meyers, right? He still has this show, right? This is the late night show with Matt Binder. This is the scamming hour. I don't know about you, but in all my experience, whenever scammers reached out to me, it was usually when I was up late at night around this time, being an idiot online. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. Quick explanation as to what happened on the first half of the show. If you weren't watching live, you don't notice anything different. If you usually catch the premiere live on YouTube that starts at 9 p.m. every other day, this week, basically, I had a last-minute cancellation, so I put together a solo Matt Binder episode. No problem. The only issue is I always have some sort of idea of where I can, what kind of show I could do solo. But those shows usually take a little bit more time in post-production to edit together because it's not me going back and forth with someone. It's me speaking directly to a camera. And, when you don't have someone to riff off of, you fuck up sometimes. You got to edit that shit out. So those take a little bit longer to put together. So I was running a little bit late getting it up, but still, we were looking at, instead of a 9 p.m. start time, a 10 p.m. start time. Uploading the episode, everything was going good. I had people in the premiere live stream chat before the episode went live talking with me on the original upload. And all of a sudden, I get a message from YouTube. Your shit's been blocked. Your video has been blocked. Sorry. Why is that? Well, the episode was on Elon Musk and his history with crypto. And we touch upon, and it's important for the history of this shit, we touch upon the day Elon Musk went on SNL. That is the day Dogecoin, and that's the reason why, not just the day, just coinky-dink. That was the reason why Dogecoin hit its all-time high, because Elon Musk went on. The second his monologue hit and they mentioned Dogecoin, that shit peaked at like 70 cents, and then immediately everyone sold off. Well, not everyone. The people who knew what they were doing, not retail investors and your mom and dad who got in on it. Everyone who knew what they were doing sold off. And that, here we are today, back at 5 cents. So I wanted to just include that small segment where he basically calls himself the Doge father and calls it a hustle. We're talking like 15 seconds, 15-second clip just to show, I'm not like showing it because I'm like ripping SNL. It's part of a larger package that talks about something newsworthy. But YouTube hit me. SNL's probably got hardcore copyright ID restrictions. YouTube immediately hit me with a copyright strike. So what I had to do was I had to quickly go back to Final Cut, re-edit the clip really quick, just edit it out. In doing so, of course, I forgot to short in the little Scam Economy logo in the lower left-hand side. So it went on for like the ending goes on for like an extra minute past the song this episode. Oh, well, what can you do? But I had to quickly edit that shit out, re-export it, which takes about, 30 minutes on its own, then re-upload it to YouTube, which again takes about 30 minutes on its own. While that was happening, I actually trimmed the original video in YouTube, like YouTube's video editor, and they were re-looking at the first video. So it's like a race to see which one would get up first. Would YouTube finish processing the one I edited, the original video I edited on YouTube, or would the new upload, process and upload first? Turns out the new video went first, so I had to quickly update the Patreon page, get the new link out there, and lo and behold, here we are. Episode finally aired. What was it, like 11:45? So almost 3 hours later. The show went live, premiered on YouTube. The show goes on. The show goes on, folks. That's what I do. I mean, literally today, last night I recorded some. This morning before work, I recorded some. Worked, then quickly edited, exported, got it up, ate dinner, came back, saw it got copyright struck, re-edited, re-uploaded, pretty much ignored my children all day. I have to make it up to them tomorrow. Ignored my partner all day as well. Got to make it up to her tomorrow. And here we are on the post show. And for me, this is quite a celebratory post show because I am exhausted. And I'm just glad that, this is where we are today. This is what we, this is where I am in the day. The day is almost done. So I'm going to open up Skype. Maybe we'll get some new callers today who can't usually call in. On the West Coast, it's still only 9:45, 10 o'clock. So if you're someone who usually wants to call in, now is your perfect opportunity. Open up Skype, type in Doomed Live, and you got me. You got me tonight. This is all you. I usually go about 2.5 to 3 to 4 to 5 hours sometimes on this post show. That will not be happening tonight. An hour is most likely, maybe an hour and a half. We'll see. And we got our first caller. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi. I'm sorry. I should stop listening to the show.
Stop the stream. I'm listening to Skype. Yeah.
I'm calling in from a bit further away than the West Coast, from Australia. Hi. That's actual daylight in the background. And it's very cold here, hence the...
Oh, right. It's winter there. Oh, can I pull... I see you're using video. Can I pull your video up on the stream?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Cool. All right. What's your name
I want
again?
everyone to see the cool cat Woody. I don't know if you have those in America.
No, we don't have... I mean, we probably do. I don't have one, though. I wish I had one. That looks very comfy. What's your name again? I'm sorry.
I'm Daniel.
Hey, Daniel from Australia. We have I have a single regular Australian caller, John from Australia, who's a big he's a developer, so he knows a little bit about crypto and stuff. So it's fun sometimes when he calls in. But now we have a second Australia caller. Thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah, I've been around a bit. I mostly hung around Michael Brooks's community when he was still with us, and that's how I know about your stuff. Really have loved the content over the years, especially the intersection with a part of my life when I was still trying to be a good little capitalist. And I was at one point a semi-professional poker player, and a lot of friends of mine who kept their liquidity in crypto suddenly got very rich because it went up. And they were just using it as a means to move money around the world without people knowing about it.
I gotta say, being a professional poker player actually seems like a pretty good non-capitalistic way of living in a capitalist system. You're not exploiting anybody, right?
You are.
That's even at the professional level where people are other pros, really?
It's the whole point of it is to literally exploit the mistakes other people are making. And yes, obviously,
but they're professional, so it's the equivalent of beating someone in a sporting event, like in the NBA or NFL, something, right?
You'd hope so, but the density of people who are professionals and make money at the game is very low. What you're hoping for is an amateur whale who is just looking to gamble and have fun and really doesn't know what they're doing. And if you drill into the psychology of the people who do that and you look at how they made their money, very dark.
Got it.
So
now, if we're talking about a whale who's a multi-millionaire, then I think it's fine to steal their money. But if we're talking about
once you're at the point of they are at your table and someone's going to win that money, of course. I'm pretty big on you understand the systemic forces at play, but you can't really blame someone for making the best of it in the system. They didn't actively extract the blood money. They're just at the table with the person who did, and they can't possibly know where exactly it came from. Some of them actually probably did, quote unquote, more legitimately do it. In any case, the intersection with crypto is the other.
Well, and one more thing. Most importantly, though, again, the people who you're taking money from might have done that to make their money, but you yourself, by just being a professional poker player, most importantly, are not exploiting anybody's labor. So there you go.
Yeah, there is. Well, we can talk about that a little bit more. But the thing is, there are people who have serious gambling addictions, and play the game when they probably shouldn't be, and they're sort of just like, married to that romantic idea of, oh, I'll win a lot of money and my problems will be over, but actually they just dig themselves further into the hole.
Wait,
Like,
so professional poker players, they don't make most of their money on like the pro circuit. They make most of their money by like just playing amateurs and bilking them of their money.
Pretty much. I mean, so
What?
private cash games all rely on that, basically. And then the open tournaments, like the density, the games wouldn't run if it was just pros. No pro wants to play another pro because your edge is much, much smaller. You want to play the person who has no idea what they're doing. The game of poker, when you're playing it against people, so any table games that you play, you're just going to lose straight up because the house will never run a game it doesn't have an edge in. The casinos make money from poker by taking a rake from the whole table, and then you want to beat the rake, which is what the house cuts, and then the strategies of the other people so significantly that you make a profit. And for that to happen, you have to be playing mostly against people who have very little clue what they're doing. So yeah, that's basically how it works.
Hell, that sounds like I need to maybe do an episode. Wow, that's really
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, it's very, look, from a left perspective of looking at how capitalist systems manifest things like this, it actually is very interesting. Yeah, I'd be happy if you wanted to. I could talk to you about that.
Oh, that'd be great. Maybe we should. Yeah, let's reach out to me. You know my Twitter handle, because that's the best place to DM me, and we'll put something together. This is
I would do that. I did. The reason I did call in though was I wanted to talk about CoinFlex quickly.
Oh yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Right.
That was one of the exchanges and trading things that went under recently. I don't know. Have you seen much about it?
I've seen a little bit. It's been sort of, my attention's been taken away by like Celsius and Voyager and the big crypto lenders.
Yeah, it might have been easy to miss this one.
Yeah. The thing is too, like I'm also trying to like, I did like 3 episodes on the crypto lenders in a row because it was like impossible not to. But then I threw in that QAnon scam, that QAnon crypto scam episode, and then this Elon Musk crypto episode, because I also don't want to like just overdo it with people who are tuning in. Like it's just another crypto lender going under, excuse me, for the same exact reason. Like it's almost just like rinse, repeat, exchange name, rinse, repeat, exchange name.
So in that case, I might just give you the interesting and funny angle to this, which was, do you remember the BitConnect fiasco and all of the videos that got made about that, or were you was that perhaps a bit before your time?
I mean, I might have missed this. Now, before my time is weird because I actually, there's videos on Sam Cedar's channel of me and him talking about crypto back in like 2011, 2012. Like,
I mean, before Doom maybe.
But then there was a period, probably I don't know a time frame, but from before like 2017 where I sort of checked out a little bit. So if it happened in that time frame, I might have missed it.
I think it was 2017, 2018. It was basically this exchange and lending platform that said it had a mystery bot that would give you 2% interest per day. Something absurd.
Sign me up.
Right? Yes. So it's an extremely obvious Ponzi, and it was such an obvious Ponzi that the only people they could get to promote it were caricatures, just people who were so memeable. There's like videos about how funny it is. One of the people who made those like jokey parody videos, Doug Polk, who made all of the points about how it was just obviously a scam, years later turns around and starts promoting a smaller version of the exact same thing, a lending and exchange platform that guarantees an annualized return, just guaranteed. Not past performance is an indicator of future performance, guaranteed. And his argument is, I did my due diligence. It seemed plausible to me. It was only 10% per year. And yeah,
it's crazy that that's not something that's brand new to me in terms of like stumbling upon like someone in the scene who is a critic of a specific crypto scam, completely calling it out and everything, and then all of a sudden, lo and behold, a few months, maybe a year later, they've rolled out their own version of it. Perfect example is last summer when I was on top of the FaZe Clan and various TikTok influencers and Twitter and Instagram influencers who were hawking all the random influencer-made shit coins and meme coins. I stumbled upon the Nelk Boys, who are huge like YouTubers and like the influencer scene, and they were calling that shit out, saying like, I can't believe all these influencers fucking over their fans and using their using their stature to steal money from their fans, and I'm with this like crypto bullshit, and I'm thinking like, oh, that's nice. Someone a big YouTuber, they have like millions of subscribers, or like standing up for what's right. And then lo and behold, a short time later, they're hawking their own crypto bullshit. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. Basically, like the internal logic sometimes itself isn't even consistent for these people. Like the pretzels that they twist themselves into about wanting to believe in markets and that there are some, mine isn't the shit coin. It's the others that are the shit coins. It's like, just not realizing that the whole thing predicated on infinite growth, on this delusion that everyone can win in a system inherent on exploiting and people taking advantage of each other. Yeah, it's always interesting. I guess like when people get confronted with that for the copes that they've set themselves up with, and this guy is now trying to because everyone's pointed this out to him. It's extremely funny watching him try to do the distinction without a difference of him talking about why this wasn't BitConnect, and him saying things like, oh, I did my due diligence and I wasn't invested in the company, except that he was getting paid money for these ads. He has a huge platform. He has like 500,000 YouTube subscribers, right? And he's promoting it to this thing. Like, how is he not taking any responsibility? Of course, people are going to see him promoting this thing and think, oh, Doug's trustworthy. He calls out other scams. This must be legit. I'll sink money into this. And then he's just saying, nope, not responsible. It's completely different this time. I'll walk away. And yeah.
Right. It's the interesting thing is like, let's say you were someone, and I think it's all a scam, hence the name of the show. But
it is.
Let's say you are someone who thinks like, oh, I'm gonna like try to create a real token with real utility. Again, it doesn't exist. Even Bitcoin doesn't exist. A real token with utility, and I'm gonna mint it right now and try to make it big. Well, the second you try to like prop up the coin and promote it, you're going to have to get it into the hands of someone who's got an audience, right? And you have to then convince, and you want to do that, a couple times, couple of major players, because again, you want them to promote it to their audience. You have to get them to promise not to then immediately sell when that initial spike comes out. It's not going to happen. They're going to see a chance to make quick money. They're going to sell. It is literally impossible, even if you have good intentions. It's literally impossible, I think, to start a token, at least nowadays, that doesn't end up becoming a pump and dump.
It also like yeah, exactly. Nothing inherent in trying to decentralize one currency in the wider capitalist system will ever not incentivize someone to try and centralize it as much as possible and wield that power for their benefit. Like the whole incentive in our entire society, and it's I think the biggest argument against the myth that we're all inherently greedy and awful. Actually, what you see is that the people who are incentivized to be the most greedy and psychopathic win the most in this society. So of course, they're the ones who rise to the top. Now, if you then make something that starts out like this, where everyone's on an equal footing, someone will come in with institutional wealth and power, as you see in every of these systems, and buy it all up and then use it to pump and dump and do all that stuff that then just screws everyone else. So there's kind of like, how saying there's no ethical consumption under capitalism. There's no ethical crypto under capitalism either. Sorry. Like it's not a solution to any of the wider system problems.
Right. Literally every single aspect of it, whether it's just straight up like, tokens, meme coins, altcoins, whatever, whether it's NFTs, whether it's some like Web3 bullshit project you're creating that connects your wallet to, this new social media bullshit. But again, your whole entire identity is caught up then in your crypto holdings in your wallet and whatever digital collectibles you got, DAOs, bullshit, absolute bullshit. Just start a fucking co-op. What else? DeFi, decentralized finance, the idea that you get to be the predatory crypto lender, gross, disgusting. I don't see how that helps anybody. The whole thing. There's not one single thing I've come across where any of this makes any sense. And then someone's going to probably say, but what about the blockchain and being able to have like a chain of custody on the blockchain? You could do that shit without a blockchain and save yourself all the time of not being able to edit fucking anything on it.
It's called BitTorrent. BitTorrent already did this. I would love to get all of the DeFi, all of the fintech people into a room. And my version of a gulag is just everyone has to watch David Graeber narrating debt the first 5,000 years. And after that, if they're still comfortable with doing what they're doing, they just, like we live in a good society, they just go somewhere else to screw each other over, and no one else in society has to deal with the people with who want to do that.
You know what sucks? We lost Graeber before he commented on any of this. And there are a number of crypto people who think he would have been a crypto guy. Like literally, if you look it up, literally, because he also,
oh my God,
he also, he was asked about it before he passed away, back in like 2018 though. This was like before,
and he didn't know much about it.
Yeah, and he was just like, I have avoided talking about it. He did say it's more of a speculative commodity than a viable currency. That's his tweet. But he didn't really get too much into it, and he sort of stayed away from it. But like there are legit crypto, posts online that are like, oh, he would have totally loved it.
It totally misunderstands then. It's like it's projecting their understanding and their hopes onto him. He has the intellectual integrity to say something like, I really don't know much about this. I'm not going to comment, and to the extent I will comment, it'll just be a vague impression. And for them to think, I mean, they should have a serious reading of Graeber's writing, and he would make. I think I make these criticisms because I have a good understanding of his concepts and the concepts he drew those people from. Is that if it doesn't address the wider system problems, then it's ultimately just a distraction. I mean.
Oh, right. Absolutely. But of course, they also hear how he was an anarchist, and then, anarchy, decentralization. Of course, he'd love it. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
God. Yeah. Well, I've loved this chat. I won't take up any more of your time. But yeah, if you do want to do a bit of a chat about, poker as a capitalist outgrowth, or poker the way it developed as this insane money-making machine. Because there were a lot of people who did, especially when I started playing, and I was off the tail end of that, who realized work as we've constituted it sucks. This society sucks. This is something I can do to get relief from the grind of regular society. So yeah, I would love to do that with you. Let me know. And
definitely. Because from what you're telling me, like if it was just like pros playing pros, I think that's totally legit, totally fair. I think it's probably a great way to do it too, in terms of like,
let me give you the reason. Actually, it's really easy to conceptualize this. This is why chess isn't played for money anymore. It's a basically solved game. It's so deterministic that going in if you will beat someone or not most of the time, right? In poker, because there is so much inherent luck, even if you are really much better than someone, it's abstracted out so much that in the short term you can still win against the best in the world. You just will very assuredly lose over a longer sample, but most people never play enough hands to reach the longer sample. That's why it still has that romanticism and that mystique. But online, like, it's getting much.
Also a pro if they're, if they know they're going to lose because they have a bad hand, they just know how much to wager and how to handle that, right?
Ooh,
I mean, or
that's
no?
Not quite. Yeah,
I'm as you can probably tell, I'm not a gambler.
That right there is kind of why it's still quite profitable, at least live, to make money, because it's another thing where if you want to be good at poker, you have to think in systems. You don't think if you're playing it properly, you don't think in terms of hands. You think in terms of the range of hands you would have in a situation. You wouldn't just have one hand and play it that way. Your strategy would have a large number of permutations you'd play that way. And if you're playing it so well that you're not exploitable, you could tell someone this is game theory optimal, you could tell someone what your strategy is in that situation. So when you bet this amount, you could tell someone all the hands you'd bet that amount with, and they could do nothing to beat that strategy because you've got enough bluffs, you've got enough good hands in there that yeah, basically like that's a really hard thing for us to do, is to think systemically like that. And yeah, so I think it's actually a really interesting study in human decision making and the way we've sort of evolved all of our systems around like punishing people for the decisions they make, whether they even have good decisions in front of them or not.
Right. It sounds a little bit like what you're, my version obviously doesn't exist, where it's just the best of the best playing it out and like having a good old fashioned. But what you're saying, it really does sound like, I've always made the case that if crypto was just sold as another way to gamble, it'd be a little bit more honest and fair, and people would probably, not lose. Well, people would still lose out, but it wouldn't be as devastating to people, or as many people wouldn't get involved. It sounds like poker's a lot like crypto in many ways, in terms of like, it's rigged because there are people who know what they're doing better than the vast majority, and they know how to handle it, and when to dive in and when to dip out. And those people then look for the people who don't know what they're doing, to take advantage of them and get them to invest, pump up the value of things, and then they cash out.
One of the things that's like most sickening is when pros know they've got a real whale, like a very rich, very poor decision maker at poker.
I think that's completely fair. In that case, book him with everything he's worth. If we're talking,
sometimes it's even more sickening that they're not that rich either. But the thing is, just like, the amount you see, because I'm sure this happens in crypto as well, where they're just whining and dining the sucker that they're going to fleece. That's what happens there. They get the invite to like the dinners and events and things, and then they also get the invites to their private games. Where, it is very similar.
I mean, if you could only screw very rich people out of money, then I would be completely fine with it, and you should be fine with that too.
I would agree with that if only that were the case, and if only the way they were accumulating that money wasn't screwing over everyone else too.
Right. But, True. Thanks for the call. This was fantastic. What time is it over there in Australia?
It is currently 3:05 p.m. in Canberra, Australia. And I wish you a good night and a good sleep. And thank you for taking the call.
Thank you. And I hope you enjoyed your lunch and have a wonderful weekend.
You too, man.
Take care. I love talking to Australian callers because the time difference is fantastic. I love to see it. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from? We got someone with a bad connection. Call back in, whoever I just picked up. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hey, hold on. Let me turn off the stream real quick.
Yeah, sure. And then just turn up the Skype. Yep. Can I bring up your video on the feed?
Yeah, sure.
Cool.
Hi, I'm first time, long time. I'm Osaka James. Some people may know me from the chat over here. And I just wanted to talk to you about Sanshiro Matsuyama.
What?
So, I don't know if anybody's heard about Sanshiro Matsuyama, but he's currently the most ridiculed man in Japan. And
is that the guy who? No, is it?
Hold on, I can't see with those things on.
Okay, so who is this guy?
Okay, anyway, he's a former actor, I'm sorry, entertainer and book writer. And he became a politician here in Japan. And so he is running for the governorship in Nagano. And just a week and a half ago, just before the election, he got caught cheating on his wife. And, he dropped down in the polls. And this guy, again, he was in Nagano. So...
Wait, what's his name again? I'm trying to look him up. What's his name?
So, Sanshiro.
How do you spell that? Do you know?
Sure. Yeah. S-A-N. S-H-I-R-O.
Sanshiro. Okay.
And
I gotta tell you, when you called in and said you're gonna talk about the most ridiculed man in Japan, I thought you were gonna talk about Abe's shooter.
No, it's actually not him that's getting ridiculed. It's this other guy, because what happened, well, as I was saying, he got caught, cheating on his wife, and he he was up in the polls and everything, but started tanking after that. And Abe-san was supposed to go to Nagano to promote him. He was going to go, what do you call it, soapbox for him and everything, like around Nagano. But at the last moment, he decided not to go to Nagano and decided to go to Nara instead, where he got shot by that guy. So because of this guy cheating on his wife and, tanking in the polls for the LDP, he got the former prime minister of Japan shot. So, so right now everybody's just dumping on this guy.
I lost you here. That was a big. I wasn't expecting that. Just run that by me real quick again.
Okay. So anyway, this guy, he was running in Nagano for the LDP, the same party that Abe ran for, or ran for a long time. And Abe-san was supposed to, stump speech for this guy in Nagano. And then, like, the day before he was supposed to go, like, promote this guy in Nagano and everything, the news came out about him cheating on his wife and everything. So Abe decided not to, stump speech for this guy because it would make him look bad and make the party look bad. So at the very last minute, that's why they went to Nara. And they couldn't get a good detail, of the Secret Service or their form of the Secret Service over here. And that's how the guy, got close enough to shoot him in Nara. And it happens to be the guy's...
God. That is amazing. That's incredible. I mean, this poor guy also, it's not his fault. Well, I'm assuming his politics sucks, right? Because he's from Abe's party. So, maybe not this poor guy, but... it's certainly not his fault, but that's insane. I guess, why not blame him, right?
Yeah, but it's just that goes out to everybody here. Please don't cheat on your partner. It might cause the death of a former world leader. So it's, please be careful, everybody.
Well,
keep it in your pants.
Depending on which world leader, maybe.
All right, Russia, keep going, please. Do your thing.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe exactly. Maybe some Russian whatever. I don't even know what they got over there. I don't even know.
Oligarch or something.
Yes, thank you. It's late here. It's 1 a.m, and I wanted to give you guys an hour at least. Yeah. So we're only halfway through, and I'm already. Can't think of what a Russian politician would be called.
Yeah. No, don't worry. I'll just cut it off there. I know you want to get more calls in. I don't want to, act like a certain person from a certain island nation who drags on his calls. I love him though. He's amazing.
Ooh,
but I'll keep it short today for you.
Wow, shots fired at Dave from Jamaica. Jeez.
All right, I'll take it easy. I got to get back to work anyway, so I just want to make a quick call in.
Okay, great. This was fantastic. Thanks so much for that info. I didn't know that. That's amazing. Have a great night. What time is it over there? What time is it?
Oh, yeah, it's now 2:10 in the afternoon.
Oh, I hope you had a good lunch, if you're going to have lunch. I
just had lunch. I had some ramen, which is like cold Korean noodle soup thing.
Isn't that ramen?
And a beef bowl.
Isn't that
No, it's ramen. It's a different type of noodle, and it's served with like kimchi and kimchi, other vegetables and stuff, and it's in a cold broth. It's really delicious.
Okay, I'll have to try that. I live in the heart of Chinatown in Queens, so I'm sure I could find some. I just need to, and Koreatown too. It's all there's. I got everything.
Yeah, I don't know
Queens.
I don't know what it's called in America. They call it ramen here in Japanese. It just means cold noodles, basically.
Did you eat the video game character Rayman? Did you murder Rayman and eat his guts?
Possibly.
Have a great afternoon. Enjoy your weekend, my friend. Thanks for the call.
Thank you. You too. Get some sleep.
I'll try. Take care.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Peace. Let's take another call. Oh, I just missed you. I'm gonna just take call after call. Let's go for it. Let's get as many calls in as possible. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, Matt.
Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling
Justin, from? I'm from Michigan.
Colson from Michigan?
Yeah.
What would you like to talk about?
Yeah, I actually twittered you about the delay in the show earlier today, but there was like another issue with Elon that I wanted to bring up, because it's not only him like always delaying things, but he just like outright lies. And like when he brought down Twitter's price by texting like it's overpriced. He sunk the stock like dramatically when he said it was overpriced.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't.
He's like I mean, I don't see like the Delaware Chancery Court is really interesting because it's basically like I didn't go too much into it on the episode because it wasn't. I didn't want to make it about I brought up the Twitter thing because I wanted to segue into the crypto aspects of it all. So I didn't get too.
But Delaware is like a kind of state where you don't want to fuck with them because they're a
completely pro business state, right? And the Chancery Court, because I was reading about it. It's basically like a court unlike any other where they only deal in these sort of business arrangements and contract disputes and things like that. And they are obviously very friendly towards the
credit
corporation
card companies, student loan companies, all everything. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So,
that's where Joe Biden made his name essentially.
Right. And there's no jury. It's basically you make your case in front of this judge and the judge decides. And it's not even called a judge. I forgot what the hell he's called. It's
magistrate or whatever.
Something like that. Yeah. And so basically in what we have going on here, Twitter is I forgot what the term is. I had it on me before. If you give me a second. Where is it?
But like, okay, why you look it up? But I think the base of $1 billion. I mean, that's the low base. I think they're gonna try to get a whole bunch more because of the damage he did.
Right. So what they're looking for, what they're seeking, is specific performance, which is a legal term for when a court orders a party to actually, go through with its promise and actually hold up its end of the deal.
Just fork over the money.
Yeah. I don't know, though, if the judge would do that in this case because it seems like a case where if Elon doesn't want the company, like, is it in everybody's best interest?
Didn't he already sign the contract, though?
Right. So I'm wondering if, they'll just come to terms and just get a whole shitload in damages. Like...
Yeah, exactly.
Because I'm assuming they have to claim they want they want to sell the company to him, for the purpose of the lawsuit. Because otherwise, I mean, if they really want to get rid of the company so bad and force him to buy it, I mean, that really sucks for the employees. Because imagine how shitty that feels for you to work at a company where all of its executives and your bosses want to give the company away to someone who clearly does not want it.
Granted.
They should seek out billions, not just the $1 billion that is the $1 billion fee that's in the contract for if Elon backs out, and there's all these other terms and conditions for that. They should get billions out of this, and that would be more than they usually make. Like that would be their most profitable thing ever.
They only make they don't make that much money. It's not a very profitable company. But the problem is, you have a lot. Actually, Twitter has a lot of mom and pop investors. I know there's a lot of VC into it, but there's a lot of people I know who, when they came out, they bought Twitter, and they bought it later. And he drove down the price of it for 30% or 20-some%. He knocked it off quite a bit when he said I think it's way overpriced. I'm like, all right.
He also purchased Twitter shares and didn't report them
prior
to all this. This guy constantly flouts various rules and regulations, constantly skates by the SEC. They just let him get away with murder, and it's time that this shit stops. It's time that's because if someone like Elon Musk can do this, then what's the fucking point if there's a guy?
Yeah, but it's the same thing when I try to watch the January 6th things. What's the consequences of anything that's gonna happen to these people? Is anyone gonna get charged? Is anyone gonna go to jail? Because it doesn't seem that way. And there's no point. I mean, I'm granted it's helping the Democrats in their perspective of being the party of, showing out the yeah, the part, like a coup attempt. But I'm like, if no one's gonna go to jail, if no one's gonna get harmed in any way, what's the point?
Yeah.
Eh,
No, I
if
completely.
Elon Musk is not gonna get hit by the SEC for like dropping the price of Twitter by saying it's overpriced, you're not allowed to do that, correct? I don't think you're allowed to do that.
Right.
Especially when you're, I don't know.
I mean, we have, like, there's always been mega rich people who could flout these laws, and they do it constantly. I mean, if you've seen, are you aware of these Uber leaks that came out that basically showed that Uber executives knew they were breaking laws in city by city, but were operating under the idea that if we basically just break all these laws really quick, continue operating while breaking these laws, and just become so, institutional in people's lives, like we're just people always are using Uber because they get used to our service, then the laws will have to change for us. And that, I mean, they were right. That's what happened.
Well,
That's what happened. They flouted all these taxi and cab laws city by city until they were so ominous in the city that the laws had to change for them. They succeeded. We're literally in this position now where, like, any major corporation, any startup with enough big VC money backing, any mega rich person like Elon Musk could just sit there and go, they don't have to lobby anymore. They could just sit there and go, I don't like this. I'm going to break the law and break it so hard and break it so fast and so often that they're going to have to change this shit for me and my company.
What I know about Uber is their ex-CEO was a sex offender. They made medallions worthless in New York, and essentially they're still not making any money. And then Prop 22, where they classified all their workers as contractors and not employees, which is kind of shitty. But yeah, I did not know about them breaking all those. I thought they just like covered it with Prop 22.
Oh, I mean, before they even got there, they needed to, like, you couldn't run the in New York City, at least. I mean, if you wanted to run a taxi service,
well, they had the medallion program,
not for Uber. Anyone could.
Yeah, I know.
Uber basically killed the taxi. Listen, the medallion program here was a fucking scam anyway. That we had all these working class immigrants coming over, having to basically work like an indentured servitude to pay off these medallions that they rented to they were renting from the medallion holders, basically. From my understanding, off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember.
Exactly. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
And these medallions were selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Exactly.
I mean, bullshit system. But anyway, we told these immigrants who came here and these working class people who wanted to, drive a yellow taxi that they had to take part in this system. And it was the law. And so they listened to the law and they listened to the regulations. And then
you followed the rules.
And then, right? And then Uber came in and said, fuck that shit. And then made those medallions worthless. And now we have taxi cab drivers, yellow cab drivers, many, like I said, working class immigrants from not born and raised in the U.S., worked their ass off to get here and become taxi drivers. A couple
times, so
working 80 plus hours a week or whatever, if only that, and they got to pay back the money for these now worthless taxi medallions. It is ridiculous. It's ridiculous the system was set up. It's ridiculous we allowed these companies then to break the rules that everyone else had to follow. It was all done to fuck over people like you and me, and people, quite frankly, even in a worse position than people like you and me. So, I mean, at the end of the day, the system worked for exactly who it should have, who was set up to work for, and fucked over exactly who it was meant to fuck over.
You hit the nail on the head, man. You hit the nail on the head. I don't know what else.
Yeah, I appreciate the call. This was, great discussion.
Thank you,
really
man.
Appreciate it.
You have a good night, bud.
Take care.
Likewise.
Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
California.
Oh, what's your name? I'm sorry, you got cut off in the beginning.
Oh, hold on, let me cut off the stream.
Sure.
California.
Yep. California. What name do you want to go by if you don't want to give your name?
Mike Jones.
Mike Joe. Okay, Mike. Okay. Can I bring up your video on the feed?
Yeah,
Cool.
let's do this.
What would you like to talk about?
Well, Joe Biden's the best president we have. No,
I'm assuming you're being sarcastic.
no.
Okay, he's not. No, he's not very good.
I appreciate what he's doing. You know, gas prices. You know how are we?
Oh, he doesn't control the gas prices. That's, he's fucking up in many ways, but gas prices isn't really. I mean, what I think he should do if he really wants to control the gas prices is he should nationalize the energy company, the oil, Shell, Mobil, Exxon, and because if the country requires these resources for its economy to work, then it should be nationalized like any other system in this country that needs to be nationalized. So in that case, he's totally failing. I agree.
Yeah, you make a great point there. You make a great point. So where do we go? Where do we go from here?
Where we go from here? I mean, I would love to see Joe Biden primaried.
Primary?
Yeah.
I like Gavin Newsom. I'm a California. I like him.
No, not Gavin Newsom. I'm not a Gavin Newsom guy.
I'm kind of a fan.
I'm getting a strong feeling that you're not.
No, I really am. I like him. I'm California taxes are great. I lived here my whole life. People think that California taxes are high, but I've been paying them my whole life. And it is what it is. You go to Alabama, what I do for a living pays half of what they pay here. So I think it's a misconception.
Oh, if you're being honest, I don't know exactly what the California tax rate is, but I live in New York, and obviously, taxes aren't as cheap as like you said, somewhere in Alabama, as low as somewhere in Alabama. But we pay for services that, quite frankly, they don't. There's towns and cities in this country that basically have to pay extra, directly a monthly subscription to their fire department. Otherwise, the fire department doesn't come in the case of a fire. That's
100%.
quite ridiculous.
100%. I'm a locomotive engineer. I drive trains. Fancy name for driving trains for a living. I make $50 an hour out here in the Bay Area. And, I go to Alabama where my family lives, and I make $19 an hour.
Yeah, we there you go. But I'm not a Gavin Newsom guy. I guess from
I'm not a YouTuber. Hey, you sign me. I'm a good guy.
Right. In terms of who I would like to see primary Joe Biden, to answer your question, in terms of people who are actually hinting at it and throwing their hat in the ring, I would actually support J.B. Pritzker of Illinois, governor of Illinois. I think he's been really good in terms of, being a staunch progressive. And quite frankly, maybe we need someone who gives off a bit of that FDR-esque, bravado in terms of being a very wealthy person who is sort of a class traitor like FDR was.
Wait, can you say the name one more time? I did not catch the name.
J.B. Pritzker, governor of Illinois.
Pritzker. Okay, that's interesting. I feel like we can't run Biden again. We got to come with someone stronger. Beto O'Rourke. I was happy that he came strong, and he was very vocal against these crazy Republicans and put his name out there.
Beto? No, he's not very good. In terms of running for office in Texas, fine. He would certainly be, if he could do it, he could certainly be a step up from what we got in Texas in terms of, a Ted Cruz or their governor there. He's currently running against Abbott. But for a national race, like president, I don't want Beto.
No, okay. What about Kamala? Why don't we run her?
No, thank you. At the bottom of my list, she's
Why?
barely
Why not?
barely
Come on.
barely being a VP. No, thank you.
Listen here, I've been calling it for years. I mean, Nancy Pelosi walking down the beach. I mean, come on, man.
Oh, you're.
Her in a bikini wasn't a
I
bad.
love me Nancy Pelosi, of course, as my listener, my regular viewers know. I'm big Nancy Pelosi guy.
California born. I mean, hey, Nancy, my lady, and when she let the dogs out, I'm like, mommy milkers. Here we go.
Oh my
I knew
God, dude. All right, now I know you're straight up trolling. I absolutely.
I'm not trolling. I'm not. Her boobs are big. Come on.
There is no one on the face of the planet who believes, who has that opinion. You could be the most basic ass.
Her boobs are great.
Basic ass Dem lover. You could be a K-Hive member, loving everything Kamala and Joe Biden's been doing. Nobody legitimately thinks that about Nancy Pelosi. I'm sorry, my friend.
Hey, Alex Stein, number 99. I see him on Facebook or on the Twitter, and he ran into AOC earlier, and he made her mad.
Yeah, he's kind of a dick.
I'll be honest with you, man. I'm new to this politics stuff. I'm out here in California. Politics are politics. I ran into you on the Tim Pool podcast because Tim Pool is he's gone mainstream, and it's an interesting way of politics. But to hear someone like you and to actually give him a fight, I appreciate what you did, and that's why I continue to listen to you, because it's like, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here as a country? Right? We need to we're in a tough spot.
Right, well, let's think about it this way, because obviously I think you're coming clean now, which is fine. It was fun. Like what is something like legit that, like, the joking around has been fun, but like really quick, a quick like serious 5 minutes here. What is something that bothers you about the country, as someone who, I don't know if you were being honest about your feeling about Tim Pool, but
no, 100% I'm being honest.
Okay.
I'm a father of 3. I'm a husband. My taxes are through the roof. I just purchased a house in rural California for $550,000, and I have to commute 2 hours to work to the Bay Area, and that affordable housing, that type of bullshit is not okay. That to me, and education is number one. I don't care about left, right, whatever politics people want to talk about. I care about family. I care about people. We're animals at the end of the day. We're mammals, right? And we forget about that. We've tried to become so civilized that people forget about that bullshit.
Right, but what about affordable housing? Bothers you?
What about affordable housing?
Yeah,
I can't live where I work. I have to commute 2 hours to live where I work. I mean, I started on the railroad.
How is affordable housing cause that?
How does affordable housing cause that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess affordable housing to where you can, like I said, where you can work, where you live in your community. I mean, okay, so affordable housing is just a part of it, but also it's just like major corporations or companies being able to establish businesses, or people establishing businesses where you live.
Right, I'm a little bit confused though. Like, you said that affordable housing is why you have to commute 2 hours away. I'm like, that doesn't connect to me unless I misunderstood you.
My career, I mean, so 13 years ago, when I was 20 years old, I started working for the railroad, and that's just kind of how my life kind of journeyed into. Because I mean, I feel because college, I have no debt, I have no student loans, I have none of that bullshit, and that's another story. But I don't have where my life journeyed me to where I can make a living wage is my money goes further to live further away from where I work.
Okay,
So
I think I misunderstood you. I misheard what you said. No, I mean, I am on your, like, I think we're on the same page here. I mean, quite frankly, what's going on here is, I mean, you can even see it online. It's become so like in your face, like all these like wannabe entrepreneurs on like TikTok and Twitter and everyone buying up all this housing and putting it up for rent. I mean, that's what's causing this problem. I mean, And the interesting thing is, for someone who might not be, you know, maybe not might not or might not realize or might not be on the leftist or progressive side of things, they might not realize that like the answer to that is to actually like, you know, regulate that shit so people can't do that. People shouldn't be able to buy up and have a monopoly on housing and force everyone to rent through them. I mean, that's what we're seeing. Like that's why you know, Manhattan here. Like I can't live in Manhattan. I live in New York City. I'll never live in Manhattan in my life. Apartment in Manhattan, like a studio, is like $5,000 or some shit. Why is it that much money? Because number of companies own all the buildings and they're able to charge these exorbitant prices because they know they could get them. And they'd rather, honestly, there's like empty office space, empty retail space that's empty for months, if not years, causing a blight in the city. But they'd rather keep it empty than make it more affordable because they know if they keep their price high and they keep it empty, eventually some big bank or some chain will come in and give them exactly what they want, and they'll end up making more money that way anyway. It's like
Right.
it's like that's a major problem, and there's a failure where the government should step in and stop this shit. I mean, a problem is that on both sides you have Democrats who are too chicken shit to actually do this because they're afraid of stepping on anyone's toes who wouldn't like this and lose some like crappy centrist suburban voter or you know, some crossover Republican votes which don't exist. And Republicans won't do that because they believe that all government intervention is bad, which is bullshit. The government's here, well, it should be here to do things that help people. It's citizens. They should provide safety nets for people who lose their job, who are unemployed, who are homeless, who are having difficulties, troubles. They should help people find housing. They should provide these things for people. They should make sure people are fed, people aren't dying in the streets, that people get medical care and don't go broke from getting medical care. I mean, these are basic things that should be the government should take care of its citizens for. And you got you got Democrats who say they believe in it but too chicken shit to fight for it, and Republicans who absolutely don't believe in it and will fight like hell to make sure these things don't happen.
Matt, I appreciate what you're saying. Do you think that you may be on the verge of being an anarchist?
No, because anarchy would require. I'm more of an anarchist, obviously, than I'd be like a right winger. Anarchists, I think, in terms of like small bore sort of like communities, you could work that out. Like the idea of mutual aid, that is really a worthwhile endeavor. I enjoy. I think those are good acts. Like when you see people come together and help each other out. But at the same time, that only could go so far. There are certain apparatuses that are so large that really only a government body can take care of that. Like we can't do mutual aid to provide health care for everybody in the country. It's too large. It's too big. People can't do that. We need.
But in America, healthcare is a privilege. It's not a right.
Well,
and
it should be a right.
That's all right. It should be a right. I agree with you 100%. But that's what it is. It's a privilege rather than a right. And I don't know where we go from here as a country to where we rebuild, because the structure it's very interesting, and our politics are so far apart to where the country that I grew up in, I'll be honest with you, I'm 32 years old, man, and I graduated from high school in 2008, and when I graduated from high school, that was the heart of the recession, and there was 40-year-old men that got laid off from their job that were taking the entry level jobs, and so now here we are that I keep hearing on the mainstream media that, oh, there's such a huge vacancy in jobs, but motherfuckers forgot that 1 million people just died from COVID, and I firmly believe that 50,000 or not 50,000, but 50-year-olds plus that were of retirement age just walked away from employment completely to live the rest of their lives. And how do we grow from there? And people aren't talking about that.
Right. No, we everything is, without a doubt, everything is fucked up right now. The whole entire, like my dad, for example, he's someone who was working like a regular working class job, and then COVID hit and he couldn't work because it was a front facing job. Like he worked at a catering hall, and they shut down for years because there wasn't anyone using it. And then, he happened to hit retirement age when COVID ended. So he went back for a little bit, and then he took retirement. He's not like, he basically, he's got Social Security. We have an entire generation of boomers who were basically kicked out of their workplace. Working class boomers were kicked out of their workplace, even from before COVID with the recession. That's why my dad was working where he was working, because he got laid off. So we have a whole class of boomers who are going into retirement, who don't have, enough savings and enough, like a safety net built up. And then on top of that, we have millennials who are going into a stage of their life where they're making way less than all of the generations who came before them. They own less. They have completely, like, the net worth of a millennial is something like less than half of what a boomer's was at that same age. Not looking any better for Gen Z. It's pretty simple to say that, like, I don't know what to do. Like, one hope I do have is that I maybe you don't agree with this, but I do think that some of the young people getting into politics who are, more progressive than people who've come before them, are ushering in perhaps, hopefully, a new era. Like, hopefully people like AOC, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Jamal Bowman, Cori Bush, they continue to fight for the progressive, working class ideals. I mean, Medicare for all would be huge. It would be huge. It would change so many people's lives. Even if you're not like someone who's like, this argument really should be made. Republican politicians will never fight for it, but Republicans, if you argue this to them, I think would be swayed. Not all, but some of them would certainly be swayed. One of the main reasons people have to work at a job and don't go off to start their own business is the company provided healthcare benefits. I know people literally of all generations. I know my mom worked where she worked for a long time because of the healthcare benefits, and I have 3 siblings growing up. She had 4 kids under the healthcare plan. It was a good healthcare plan. I know a lot of people in similar positions who basically work where they work because of the healthcare plan, and they would love to go off and try something new, start a business, maybe even create something that would blow up, and they would be able to create even more good-paying jobs than there are now. But they can't do that because of the healthcare reasoning. So, with Medicare for all, that'd be a huge boon to even those people who, imagine not worrying about having to pay for your healthcare because it was included in, and the government took care of it, and everyone just paid, I guess, a little bit more in taxes. I think the way it would work out, though, is like, the vast majority of people would probably not even realize that much. I think you just broke. I just lost you. Skype just froze on you. This was a great call. I appreciate it. Definitely call back in. I'm sorry that it froze. You're frozen on the screen. I enjoyed both the trolling and I enjoyed the legit discussion. I probably would have played along with the trolling a little bit more if it wasn't almost 2 a.m. and I wasn't so exhausted. I just wasn't in the mode to fuck around. Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Alex, calling in from Texas.
Hey, Alex from Texas. What would you like to talk about?
Let's see, a couple of things. Actually, I wanted to talk about the scams that are HOAs. Y'all brought it up on Tuesday.
Yes, we did. You're about to. You might get a side of me. I think the whole thing is fucking so ridiculous. I can't imagine buying a property that was part of a HOA. I mean, I can't imagine buying property, but I certainly wouldn't buy one as part of a HOA.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a story, and then the tangent that you and the caller went in on was something that I have been desperately searching for. And after I finish my story, if you can point me in any direction to where I can find out more about how it's a remnant of the Jim Crow era, would be much appreciated, because I'm on Nextdoor over here in Texas trying to explain to people how like we're basically paying cops to tell us what, like, the length that like you have if a blade of grass touches your sidewalk, like you got a picture being sent to your house. Oh, like I actually had that happen to me. Like a blade of a thing of grass was growing over my sidewalk. They took a picture of it, sent it to me, and said, if you don't fix this, we're gonna have to send you you're gonna owe us money. Like, it's this sort of, like, that's what we're paying to have people harass us.
I read something where a homeowners association was fining a homeowner. I forgot what it was over, but was fining them some like exorbitant fee, and they couldn't pay the fee. So they were moving the homeowners association, not the mortgage lender, not the bank. The homeowners association was moving towards foreclosing on the homeowner. I could not believe what I was reading.
Because they were feeding ducks. Matt, that was less than a mile from my house.
Oh, the ducks, right? That was what it was.
Yes.
I can't believe that shit. First of all, I would go to war over my right to fucking feed the local wildlife, by the way.
Dude. Oh, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I'm not joking. It's less than a mile from my house. And when I heard that, I wasn't surprised. And I'm lucky actually, because my HOA, they they only, I don't know, I think once a year they make a point of like going and taking pictures and like bothering people. But like, for example, like actually when I first moved into the neighborhood, this is a story I wanted to tell. I first moved into this neighborhood and I thought, I mean, we have all this land that nobody's doing nothing with, right? Typical Texas situation. And so I'm like, oh man, it'd be great if we had a little skate park for the kids in this neighborhood. So I tried to get onto the HOA because your caller had mentioned we should get on the all the leftists rise up, get in the HOA. So I thought, okay, I'll get in the, maybe, I was just thinking maybe I could do something for the kids, get a skate park going. And also they had been soliciting a spot because someone was they needed someone else to be on the board. But suddenly they stopped soliciting because as soon as I went in the meeting, I was like, well, I was curious to know, and I went through all the fiduciary stuff, the meetings, went through all the notes. I sat through all that stuff for a few meetings, and when it came time to inquire about what it is that what the vision that any ideas that I might have, which was the skate park, suddenly I basically got laughed out of the room. And but you know what? A year later, you want to know what they put instead? A dog park. They put a dog park out there. Can you imagine the look on my face when just like, it's just, oh man, there's so many things that just bother me about that. But so a place for the dogs to put God know what type of parasites into the watershed, that's not out of the question. But God forbid we have kids be able to have fun and,
Here, I just pulled up something. Where is it? Okay, this is from Business Insider. Where was it? I was just reading this. Homeowners associations were first created in the mid-19th century, but didn't gain popularity until the 1960s. I wonder why. Their popularity was driven by a rapid growth in suburban development and a desire, here we go, by white Americans to keep certain populations out of their neighborhoods.
Okay, I'm familiar with that. Got it.
Jonathan Rothwell, author of A Republic of Equals, told Business Insider, there's plenty of evidence from historic records and housing policy discussions that anti-black racism motivated some of the strategies used by homeowners associations, such as deed restrictions and covenants that explicitly discriminated against black people by compelling other owners to avoid selling to them. HOAs perpetuate racial and economic segregation by blocking fair participation in housing markets, thus denying wealth-generating opportunities and upward mobility for many black people and lower-income families. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And another thing, like y'all were talking about property values, and this is something that I actually talked to a real estate agent about this because, like, like make sure you don't have any missing picket fences or pickets on your fence, or you want to make sure that everything is clean, or else your property value will go down, right? That's the theory. But guess what? That doesn't matter. What matters, and as soon as you hear me say this, it's like, of course, the schools that are nearby, I think maybe the test scores, I'm not sure, but access to all the nice resources, I guess. I don't know. I'm sure there's all sorts of things I'm missing in this equation, but I'm sure it's like the number of Starbucks, the number of Chipotles, the number of, all those chain things that are in the standard suburban area.
Right.
That's what's going to determine your property value, not what color your house is.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, absolutely. Yeah. It's the whole thing is so, and of course, the school, your children go to the school which you're zoned for, and so the neighborhoods then in turn are obviously segregated in ways to make sure that only certain people move into a neighborhood to thus ensure then that the school only remains open to the people in that neighborhood. And then, here in New York City, rich parents have fought to keep out children from lower income neighborhoods from being bussed into their nice school in their neighborhood. This is everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're in the most liberal city or if you're in like a suburban or rural conservative area. I mean, this seems to be the case literally all across the country.
Yeah. I mean, once this just goes I find myself repeating myself all over every time someone complains about whether for or against, whether they're bootlicking or they're if they're bootlicking for the HOA or if they're criticizing it. I just find myself saying the same thing. Housing has to be a right. We got to do away with this commodity. It should not be a commodity. I mean, it all boils down to the fact that well, actually not just that, but it helps create this very dysfunctional situation since it's a commodity.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, listen, I think at the very least, basic necessities should be provided to people, and it would the idea that like what's one of like the major issues that we see like small business owners and the petty bourgeoisie complain about in their neighborhoods in their liberal cities. It's the homeless problem. Literally, just provide those people with a place to live, basic necessities like a basic per diem, so they have food and drink, and give them shelter. And guess what? Those people will be happier and healthier and taken care of, and maybe they could even eventually, being that they don't have to worry about those basic necessities, pick themselves up off their feet and take care of themselves by getting a job and being able to afford better shelter and better everything else. Sure, but like at the very least, give them the basics and it'll solve their problem. And guess what? It'll solve your rich privilege problem as well, that you have to see homeless people on the streets. But of course, we don't do that.
Unfortunately, we underestimate the degree to which it's a sport to sit around and complain and malign people who are like really down. It's amazing how much pleasure people love to exact from talking behind a computer, talking trash about people who are like totally dispossessed. But and I have one more thing I wanted to ask you about. You had mentioned like months ago, what happened with Leftover Crack, the lead singer of Leftover Crack? I tried looking that up and I could not find anything about it.
Okay, so are you familiar with the band Days and Days?
No, I don't know them.
Okay, they're like a folk punk band. They have a trumpet.
Okay.
They have a female trumpet player. They're a really good band, but they have a female trumpet player, and they would tour Leftover Crack a lot. And it's SZA had a relationship with her, and apparently I think they even got married. I believe, but she left him, and according to her, he abused her, and she has photos and hospital stays apparently, and other people have come out and alleged things about him too. I mean, you could probably tell from, if you ever saw him at a show, you probably knew that he probably wasn't a nice guy. But this is, that's something that certainly makes you stop and think about whether you want to keep wearing their T-shirts. So that's where I was.
Wow.
That's where I was. And it sucks because they are or were my favorite band. Dang,
yeah. They have some good hits, and when you told me that, I was like, no. So I was trying to look for it, man.
He also was very weird during Black Lives Matter in the summer of 2020. He was very weird online, and he got called out for some of his posts. Like it was almost like he was upset that
cryptic
that his hatred for the cops wasn't front and centered. Like he was bothered about the race, that cops' racism was being centered, as opposed to just like general police brutality. It seemed. It was bizarre. It was really bizarre because he sung about things like that too. Like that's why I liked them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's why I liked them. It seemed like, but he was like, he posted some weird shit. I don't know what's going on with him.
Interesting.
I've stopped wearing Leftover Crack shirts. I'm still wearing. I just the other day wore a choking victim shirt, and I felt torn over whether that was fair game. Because honestly, like it's not even just like listening to the band. The vast majority of my band shirts are bands he was in, because, like I said, they were my favorite band. I've seen them probably more than any other band. I've seen them multiple times a year. Like they were my favorite band. So it's easy to drop the support. It's hard, like, and not give them any more money. It's hard to not already wear the merch that I already have. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you got memories. You got memories from those days.
Like it's literally like I'm running out of T-shirts, and everything left in the closet is choking me them Leftover Crack.
Dang! Oh no! Wow, man, that's crazy. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Wow. Well, yeah. Fortunately, I did not have. I'm scared to go look up what my favorite singers and songwriters are up to these days. I'm sure they're part of the cool kid club. Well,
on the bright side,
like the lead singer of Leftover Crack.
On the bright side, Against Me is still good.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything bad about Rise Against, although I've not been a fan of their music since they got big. Not because they got big, because I feel like they changed their music a little bit. Strike Anywhere, I haven't heard anything bad about them, so we're still good there. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, if you go back and find out you'll probably find out some shit about some like legendary bands too that has never come like that, but they never like came back to haunt them because they already like stopped touring or whatever years ago. It's easy for me not to support them anymore by not buying their shit. The problem is I got all the stuff I already spent money on.
Yeah, right. Got it. Yep.
Anti-Flag. I haven't heard anything bad about Anti-Flag. There we go. Okay. They're still good.
Did you ever listen to the Impossibles from Austin?
Name sounds familiar. Were they on AF Records?
Oh, I don't know. I can look that up real quick. But they sang like, let's see, My Magic 8 Ball. They're a great sound. They have more of a ska thing to them, but oh man, they are so much fun to listen to. But anyways, you should check them out whenever you get a chance.
I will. I'm still thinking about. I sort of was gonna probably outgrow their music anyway, but the Casualties is another band. I heard some accusations, I think even worse than what was being leveled at SZA, about Jorge from Casualties. So they were an easy band to write out of my life. Luckily heard nothing about the virus or the unseen. two of my other faves. So I still wear their shirts. Those are the other two bands where after Leftover Crack, most of my shirts are probably The Unseen and The Virus. We got some people name dropping bands in the chat here. Let's see. Propagandhi. I never got really into Propagandhi. There's some good songs, but I never really got too big into them. Who else? Crass. I mean, Crass stopped playing how long ago? Although I think I did see what's his face when he came around under Crass. The what's his fucking name? The guy, the main guy from the singer from Crass, who they have many singers, but the main singer from Crass who tours under the Crass name by himself. I saw him live. I haven't heard anything about who else. We got the Descendants, Emmy mentioned, who by the way had to come out and say they do not support the Oath Keepers because that former Oath Keeper on January 6th, that former Oath Keeper who testified at the January 6th hearing on Tuesday, he was wearing the Descendant shirt. He was wearing a Milo shirt. I didn't even realize
it right
when I was
now.
watching it. But sitting before the congressional committee, he was wearing a Milo shirt. So the Descendants had to tweet out a statement about it.
That's crazy. I'm looking at the picture right now. Wow. That's. He looks like the dude in the T-shirt. Like the dude who's wearing the shirt looks like the dude on his shirt.
Oh yeah, he does a little bit. Right. Who else? Oh, Donald just mentioned Adam and his Package. Now that is, if you could call him a band, a guy with his various different electronic musical instruments. I love Adam and his Package. I need a fucking Adam and his Package T-shirt.
I gotta look that sounds awesome.
Check out Adam and his Package. They're great. They're
definitely.
They're not a traditional punk band. You're I don't think you could quite prepare for what you'll get, but it's great.
That sounds awesome.
Listen to the introductory song everyone should listen to is probably Punk Rock Academy by Adam and his Package. If you don't know who they are.
I do not.
Who else? We got people name dropping. All right, Comrade just name dropped Smash Mouth in the chat. Sorry, not punk. Bad Brains. I was lucky enough during the Save CBGB's era in mid 2000s when there were all those benefit shows in hopes of saving CBs. I got to see Bad Brains at CB's. Fantastic show. Fantastic. Wow. I got to see a lot of crazy CB shows during that time period. I got to see The Offspring at CBGB's in the mid 2000s because they played one of those. I was literally sitting right in front of what's his face, like sitting on the stage, like right in front of what's his face.
I don't remember his name, but yeah, that's awesome.
I saw the Distillers, Brody Armstrong, who is no longer Brody Armstrong because she married the guy from Queens of the Stone Age after she left. What's his face from Rancid. Who else we name dropping here in the chat? Sublime, it's good name. So, unfortunately, we lost what's his face way too soon.
Yeah,
and
true.
So Sublime with Rome isn't quite exactly cutting it for me. Dropkick Murphys, of course, saw them a few times.
Oh yeah, wow.
Yeah, and the cool thing about Dropkick Murphys is they're very openly anti-fascist, and it actually pisses off some of their listeners when they don't realize that they are anti-fascist and they come out and
that's class. That's awesome.
Because the type of music they play, there is a a skinhead and sort of like Nazi punk audience that likes it, and they every time they speak out against that shit, it shocks some of their listeners. Zachamania name dropped the Kinks. I'm a huge Kinks fan. I guess you could call them proto-punk or early punk. They're really not, but they certainly started the that sound. I think, in my opinion. Hell, I'd rather give it to the Kinks than give it to the Sex Pistols, honestly.
Dude, I was scared to bring that up. I didn't want to bring up the Sex Pistols. It makes me so.
Listen.
I'm just
in the history of things. In the history of things. Sure, did they play a huge part in like punk history? Absolutely, you can't deny it. Mm-hmm. But knowing what we know about their creation and how they got where they were and how they were put together, and the label backing, and how their manager was basically the one who was putting everything together. I don't think it would be fair to give them the looking back, to give them that credit, quite frankly. If you're gonna, if you're gonna go, people say Ramones and Sex Pistols started punk, then just say the Ramones, because Sex Pistols don't deserve the don't deserve it.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, looking back, absolutely.
And I'm saying that knowing that the Ramones were anti-communist because of Johnny Ramone being a hardcore conservative, and the rest of them cared about, the music. And Johnny was like the business mind, and he was the one who was doing all the the outward image stuff for the Ramones. So they followed his lead on all that shit. I would have loved if Joey and Dee Dee hadn't passed on when they did, to hear their take on modern politics. I don't think it would be exactly where Johnny was, honestly.
Interesting. I got two more name drops to run by you. I want to see what you think. What do you the Stooges? I mean, they're classic proto punk.
Right. Yes. And New York Dolls.
Okay.
New York Dolls.
Okay. And also, last one. I don't think I've asked you about this, but you listened to At the Drive-In, right?
I did. Yes. I mean, I do. I haven't listened to them in a while, but there was no reason why I stopped.
Okay. Good. Got it. Awesome. And Mars Volta?
No, never got into Mars Volta.
Strong opinions?
Never got into Mars Volta.
I maybe try and circle back and give it a second chance.
Circle Takes the Square. I listened to.
Which one?
Circle Takes the Square.
Oh.
Check them out.
Touche. Okay.
Check out Aus Rodden too.
Okay. Wait. How do you spell that?
A-U-S with the accent over the U, like Aus Rodden. R-O-T-T-E-N.
Oh, okay. Got it. Very cool. All right, I'm gonna check that. Wait, you said Circle and the Square?
Circle Takes the Square.
Takes the Square. Okay. All right. Very good. All right. Well, and that was a Business Insider thing you found on the HOA. So if you just typed in Business Insider HOA.
No, it actually came up because I typed in what did I search? 1 second. Let me see. Let me go back my history. Okay. I typed in Homeowner Association Jim Crow. And I actually grabbed the Business Insider one because it was a straightforward reported piece meant for quick casual consumption. But there are.
I heard you mentioned a book. They mentioned a book in there, and it sounded like that author. They quoted an author. I'm gonna have to go check that book out.
Yeah, it's in there. The author is what's his name? Jonathan Rothwell, author of A Republic of Equals. But also, if you Google Homeowner Association Jim Crow, literally every link after that Business Insider one is pretty much a .edu link to professorial university study on the next link is literally called Racial Cartels from the University of Michigan. And so it's you got some good stuff here. Check it out for sure.
Definitely. Oh, my next door is I'm gonna light my next door up with this. All right then. Thank you, sir. Take care.
All right, have a great night. Oh,
Thanks,
I think we just got let me hang up here on listener. I think we just got Twitch rated. Where we at with the Twitch? Thank you, Famous Horse, for the Twitch raid. Hello to all the Famous Horse viewers. Welcome to the stream. I'm taking calls. It's a call-in show right now. Search Doomed Live on Skype.
Matt, my guy, bro.
Hey, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
No. Come on. It's me again. I'm sorry. Mike, California. I'm sorry. We got disconnected.
I just couldn't tell because you're not using... I don't see your video right now. I think the connection might still be bad. So let's talk as quickly as we can before you drop again.
Well, California, come on. I got this. What is it called? I'm not Livewire or whatever.
Oh, so you got, you need to write to Gavin about doing something about the broadband over there.
Listen here, I live in Oakdale, California. They call it the cowboy capital of the world. All right? Listen here.
Are you in a conservative area of California?
Yeah, there's no steers and queers here, okay?
All right, yeah. So I mean, I don't remember where we left off, but you know, I don't look. Listen, I don't really know what your politics are. I know you said you found me from Tim Pool.
I like to talk politics with you.
All right, yeah, I love to. Look, I pretty much like since going on Tim Pool's show. There's probably not a week that goes by where at least one Tim Pool listener or former Tim Pool viewer calls in to talk with me. And I love it.
100%.
I think it's great. I mean, that was my point. That was the whole purpose of me going on there. Like, I didn't really care about what Tim's.
You watch your back and you can be friends. Like you two dudes sitting at a bar stool. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. He went on to call me a pedophile in a subsequent video just a couple of weeks after I went on the show. So I don't know if we would sit down and be buddies. But
I called you a pedophile?
Yeah, he called me a pedophile.
I did.
No. Tim Pool. I thought you said Tim Pool could sit down and we could be buddies.
No. I said you and I. I said you and I could be friends. I said you like two dudes sitting at a bar stool.
Oh yeah, for sure. Listen, I my whole point of going on Tim Pool's show was to reach his audience who were open to talking because that's what I do on this show. I mean, I don't know. I don't know any. I don't know any like conservative or right wing or right leaning shows that do the sort of call-ins that I do. But that's what I want to do. What's the whole? I want to talk with people. I mean, that's the whole point. I got ideas and beliefs that I truly strongly hold, and if I want to convince people of my side of things, then how do you do that? You meet people where they are and you talk with them person to person, have a fun conversation. And hopefully you walk away with more of an understanding. I'm not, I don't think you're going to walk away and be on board with everything I say wholeheartedly, but I think you'll come away knowing why I think the way I do.
And that's why I appreciate you, and that's why I call in, and that's why I followed you and subscribed because my first question is what are you drinking on there?
Oh, it's just Coke. I'm straight edge. I don't drink alcohol.
Awesome. I appreciate that. I can respect that. I'm I hope to be a recovering alcoholic soon.
I mean, if you're a drinker and there's nothing wrong with responsible drinking, but if you actually do have a drinking problem, then I hope you I'm with you, man. I call in when you and we'll have I'll give you one of these. Hold on.
That's a lie. There's no such thing as responsible drinking, in my opinion. And I hope that Joe Biden will fulfill his promise to legalize marijuana.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say bring back prohibition. No, I agree.
No.
I agree. Listen. I think it's so bizarre. Like, listen, I've been my whole life. There was like a short period in high school where I never got drunk even, but there was like a short period of high school where like I drank a beer at a party just because like I was like, you know what, if I'm gonna be straight edge, I should see if it's like if this is what I gotta do it so I could actually like hold my belief, knowing what it's like to not be straight edge. And it wasn't for me. I didn't like it, so I was like, I'm straight edge. I was always like the designated driver when I was going to high school parties and college parties and parties after college. But like I don't care if people drink or do drugs, any drug really, as long as they're doing it responsibly and it's, what they're doing is only, affecting themselves. They're not forcing anyone else to do anything. I think adults should be able to do these things. But the idea that marijuana is illegal, by far the safest of any of these drugs, alcohol included, is fucking mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. And I've never even smoked
1,000%.
marijuana. I've never smoked.
1,000%. Yeah, no, I appreciate you, Matt. And I like I said, I found you after watching you on the Timcast, and I don't know where to go from here. I mean, I love politics, and I love to argue politics. And for me, I'm a family man. I got 3 kids of my own and a wife, and I live here in California. Taxes are through the roof, whatever you want to call it. And I just like, where do we go as a country from here? We're giving money to Ukraine. We're doing different things, different deals, and it's like, what do you believe, right? You can watch CNN, you can watch Fox News, whatever. You can get on Twitter, and you get into these echo chambers, and life is life. Okay, so and I'm being real with you, Matt. Like, just it's hard to, as a family, to understand how to navigate and to grow children in this life where people are like, hey, school choice, this, that, whatever, and you get in these echo chambers, and it's just like, what do you believe? And so, I could believe you, I could believe Tim Pool, I could believe in the Steven Crowder show, or anybody, I mean, you gotta go left, right, in between. But to me, I feel like politics no longer is like, I don't know, I can't say I believe, but I feel like politics is not left or right, it's up and down. And so it's kind of come to this point to where it's like, how much money do you have, and like how much influence do you have? Like, if I'm stuck at a bridge and my kids are on the other side of the bridge, and I don't have enough money to get on the other side of the bridge, but the government's saying, hey, you got to pay this to get across, I'm screwed.
Well, I think I think the problem here is, look, I actually like what you're basically saying when you say it's politics is up and down, not left and right. You're basically saying it's about class, which is honestly a left wing position. I mean, when you hear conservatives go on and on about like Marxist theory and Marxism, and I mean, all Marx was like the summary of like Marxist theory is workers should own the means of production. It's all about class war. And I mean, you sound like you're someone who believes that's what's going on. And
Marxist?
Yeah, that's what Marx is.
I'm open to it. I don't know about the full like like the whole like drag queen shows and stuff that's going on. That's kind of where I draw a line.
Well, that's nothing to do with Marxism. Like, there's like Marx never spoke about any of those type of issues. That's like just right wing propaganda, to be quite frank. Like, we could talk about social issues, and but like that's nothing to do with Marxism. Marxism is purely class and economics. It is, there's no discussion of anything about drag queens or anything like that. But the top, politics today being about top and bottom is totally a leftist. Like, the right does not believe that. The right doesn't believe that at all. They think even bringing up the idea that the very wealthy didn't earn their way there, regardless of how they got there, they would think you saying that was, they would literally demean you for spreading Marxist theory by saying what you said there. Because they don't think that at all. They think that everyone who's got money deserves to be where they are. And if you're not where they are, for example, if you are in California with 3 kids and struggling to pay your bills, they think that you should just work harder. You're not working hard enough, my friend. That's why you are where you are. That's honestly, like, I'm not even just making that up. You could literally just like listen to any single conservative. This is what they believe. Or they'll say, you're struggling because your taxes are too high, when they don't want to raise the taxes on those same very wealthy people who are exploiting their workers and skirting taxes by keeping it offshore in like the Caymans, or taking advantage of some like rich person loophole that they're able to find, while you're paying your fair share yourself. I mean, the problem is, like, they consistently want to make you look at the government as the problem. And honestly, the government fucks up at times. The government, like, I'm not.
When you say they, who is they? Who is they?
Right-wingers and even like centrist politicians, Democrats who are like, not, centrist Democrats who would basically be, the conservative party in like Europe.
So they want me to what? To pay more taxes?
No, these they want you to look.
I'm being honest. I'm being genuine. Don't count me out for being trolling or whatever.
No, I know you're being genuine.
Bullshit.
No, absolutely.
I'm being honest. I want to know your opinion.
Go ahead. Oh, I thought. Wait, you just want me to continue what I was saying? Oh, okay. No. So they want you to look at someone who is they, as in the conservatives in this country, and even some centrist Democrat politicians. They want you to look at your neighbor, at the people who are even below you on the food chain, the homeless, the poor, people on welfare, on food stamps, and they want you to look at those people. And
I see it every day, and I donate to them every day.
No, absolutely. That's great that you do that, but they want you to look at them as the problem. Your tax money, your hard-earned tax dollars, are going towards paying for their food stamps. That's what they want you to look at.
But I want you to stay there. I want you to stay there. What is homeless?
Well, someone who obviously does not have a home. Someone who's living on the street. Someone who doesn't have shelter.
Homeless what you make it. Not everybody that's on the street chooses to be on the street.
Oh, absolutely, right.
People don't want to participate in society, right? We're animals. We're mammals. There are people in our society that they choose to not participate in the society, and I see it every day.
Well, you know, this is what this is as my beliefs and ideology brings me to say this. If someone is not participating in society in the way that you think they should, what is the answer to that? Do we let them just die, or do we, provide the basic necessities for them regardless? What are you going to say?
You're saying we tax them.
But what if they don't have money to they don't have money to be taxed? I mean,
if you choose not to participate in society and you choose to live you participate to live choose to live wherever you live, whether it's on the side of the street or in a rural area, you choose not to participate in society. Not everybody that's homeless, and that's what bothers me is like, I'm not saying I'm left, right, in between, whatever you want to call me. It's like because we've been talking a minute, but homelessness is like we can donate money, we can donate millions and millions of dollars, but these people don't participate.
Okay, but
we're animals. We are animals. We are mammals, and that's what it is at the end of the day. And so whether they want to participate or not, that's where we're at.
But what I'm asking you though is, what do you think we as a society should do with those individuals who some of us would deem as not participating?
Listen here, I work for the largest transit agency in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I see people in the worst conditions, and there's nothing you can do for these people. You try, and the drugs and everything else that's there, it's hard. I'm not saying that drugs affects everybody. I'm just saying, like, you can't help them. I try in my own community. I work for the largest transit agency in the San Francisco Bay Area, which you can Google it and you know what it is. Bay Area Rapid Transit, BART, whatever you want to call it. And so what do you do?
I know.
So how do you help these people? The number one thing that these people tell me when I'm on the trains that they need is socks. Socks.
Sure, of course.
They don't care about money. They don't care about your money. They don't care about these handouts. They don't care about these free needles that Nancy Pelosi or whatever politicians handing out in San Francisco. What they care about is socks, a warm blanket, clothes.
Sure.
It's like, so education is free in this country, and
education's not free in this country.
No, so elementary school is not free.
I mean, there are fees for. I mean, I don't.
Are you a college graduate?
I am, yeah.
Well, I'm grateful that you are, but I'm not, and I make a decent wage.
Right. No, sure. I mean, I'm all for someone doing what they want with their life in terms of whether they attend college or not. I think you should have been able to attend college if that's what you wanted to do.
College is a different question. But we're talking about homelessness. So homeless people, homelessness is a fallacy. It's a terrible term. It's a terrible term because some people choose it, and some people have mental illnesses, whatever you want to call it. But the criminal justice system has actually taken over our mental health system.
Oh, I agree with you there in terms of the mental health.
100%. Listen, so Matt, that's why I like you. That's why I like you. You know what I mean? It's like, I sway conservative, but I sway like for the people. I'm for the people. I'm for. We are animals. At the end of the day, we're mammals, bro.
Let's stick with that. Let's stick
just like I do. You bleed just like I do, and at the end of the day, it's all about opportunity, and who you know in this society is what helps you thrive. 100%.
No, but let's stick with I gotta jump soon, but let's stick with the last thing you said in terms of
Go ahead.
let's stick with the last thing you said in terms of mental health in this country, because again,
I
that's
hope I
not
get good content. Clip me. I don't give a
a
fuck. I'm not on social media. Clip me because I'm a god.
no, but that's what you're the point you made there is another like left leaning point that mental health care.
I am a liberal.
Right, there you go. Mental health care in this country should be, specialists in mental health care should be leading the charge when someone calls in to report someone facing mental issues or a mental health breakdown. We should not be sending untrained police officers to deal with mental health issues, because that's how you get situations where trigger-happy cops kill some poor, innocent, mentally ill individual.
Look, if you knew who I was, my whole family's cops, and I am for police reform.
Right.
My wife looked at me because I had a conversation weeks ago where I was like, fucking defund them. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
There you go. I mean, that's the thing.
Listen here. If you and I are in the same room, you just meet two dudes sitting at a bar stool, and I attacked you, who's going to help you? You can call 911. How long is it going to take them to get there?
You call them
30 minutes?
You call
45
them
minutes?
You call them to get the paperwork afterwards.
I could hurt you, or you could hurt me, right?
You'd probably. No, yeah,
you know what I mean?
I know what you're saying. Yeah, no. All right, so
ultimately,
let me.
human beings human beings police themselves.
All right. No, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's sort of to a point, absolutely. No, I agree. All right, man, I really appreciate the call. This was a great conversation. I'm glad I started late today, because it seems like you were able to call in California because I started late. But it's 2:30 here now, so I got to jump.
No,
definitely,
hey, Matt.
Definitely calling again.
Listen to me. Go back on Tim Pool. Give him hell.
I would love to go back on Tim Pool.
And I'll be back. And I'll be back. I'll be back to have these conversations with you, because, listen,
you should write an email to Tim Pool, and say you're a fan of his show, or you watch his show and you want Matt Binder back on the show. That you should do that.
Okay, I will. But I'm gonna create my own content at the same time. But I appreciate you, and that's why I called in. And hey, conversation is conversation. There's two dudes sitting at our bar stool, and you know what? That's what life's about, right? We're not punching each other in the face. You know, We're not trying to fight each other. You know, it's like, hey, we don't agree on everything.
Yeah.
But hey, like, I respect you. You're a human being, and that's what we do.
Right. I am a human being.
Go take care of your loved ones. I'm gonna take care of my.
Hell yeah.
And we'll do this again tomorrow.
I don't know about tomorrow, but I'm not streaming tomorrow, but we'll do it next time for sure. Have a great night, my friend. Take care. Oh no, my Skype froze. I gotta close my Skype. It froze. What the hell just happened? All right. Oh my God, it's almost 2:30 here. I gotta jump, my friends. I know people wanted to. We were so many callers. Damn. Apparently, doing a late night show does open myself up to a new audience. I will attempt to do a planned later show every once in a while. I gotta leave Skype now. I won't be able to take any more calls. Let me think. Let me read some super chats. Tokyo Hans with a super chat. Just want to let you know DFJ is awesome. Go to bed, says Tokyo Hans. And then we got XFD with a super chat. Left is best. Infinite Content with a super chat. Matt, I have a serious question. Do we know how much of public and private pensions and 401ks are bogged down with crypto? That could hurt millions. I don't think any public pensions are, but I would not be surprised if there were some private pensions. I have to look more into that. Absolutely. Kowalski with a super chat handed me one of those super stickers with a coffee. And Kruerheck with a super chat. Thoughts on Vince McMahon being exactly who one would think he is in regard to sexual coercion? My first reaction to that news, to both different pieces that came out, was, oh, there's definitely going to be more very shortly. What else? And Twitch. I want to thank Famous Horse again for the raid. Thank you to Sid Fishes for the cheering me with the bits over on Twitch. Thank you so much. Thank you to Daredevil for resubscribing with Prime, 2-month subscriber. And Daredevil did it before the stream started and asked me if no show tonight. It was just late. WVol35, thank you for the Prime subscription on Twitch. Same goes to Ito the Boogie, Valanova, Tokyo Hans, I'm Tina's, HT Skills, Ciabatta Stevens, The Real Amy Pie, Please Baby Go to Sleep, Monkey in a Lamborghini, Robot Monkey Cat, Tokyo Hans again, Moose Soup, A Social Communist, Princess Monocle, Sigma Mayo, DCastle79, Teacher Lauren, Speculum Fight, Nohema Star, After 111. Thank you to all those who subscribe via Twitch. Remember, go to your, if you are an Amazon Prime subscriber, connect your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, and you can give me a free Twitch Prime subscription every month. Costs you nothing. Twitch pays me, though, from your Amazon Prime, from the money you already give Amazon. So definitely do it if you can. Someone asked for a moment of silence for Ivana. Okay, here we go. All right, and patreon.com/Matt Binder. Folks, that's the best way to support this show if you can. Had a bunch of we're really getting close to hitting the goals here. I really can't thank you guys enough for stepping it up when I did that call out. Maybe I need to do a hardcore call out or do a membership drive to get us there. Because we are now just around 130 subscribers away from 500, which is the next goal. And things will really start moving then. I'm going to bring on some help to create more content and disseminate this content more, create shorter clips, put out more stuff in general. Help me get to 500 patrons in the short term. Really, you guys, you patrons, really make this show happen. And Doomed happen, and literally everything I do happen. And let me thank the people who joined recently, specifically. When was the last Scam Economy? I want to thank all the people who just joined. Junta/Cult, Brian M, Bradley M, Riceco K, Family L, Ramsey Z, Chandler B, Charles F, Jacqueline T, Joe S, and Serious Business. Seriously, you guys make this happen. I'm doing this stream at 2:30 in the morning because of you guys. And of course, the people who are actually watching. But, the people who help fund this show, help me make sure I do it, quite frankly. So who's online right now on Twitch who I could even raid at 2:30 in the morning? Damn, Amy C3 is still on? Who else? Who should I raid on Twitch, by the way? Who's on? Give me someone to raid on Twitch. Whoever, the first person that gets recommended, drop it to me. Here we go. Who you want to recommend me? Should I just do Amy EC3? I haven't sent Amy EC3 a raid in a while. So I'll just do that. Why not, right? Let's do Amy EC3. Wait, who's Gappy V? That's a new one. I always like doing new people. A Pokemon Legends Twitch person. I don't know about that. Shark isn't on. Doesn't look like. Who's Armor Wrath? They're not on. Armor Anth? They're not on. I'm not doing it. I'll do who's Jason Society? That's someone I've never sent people to before. Let me look this one up really quick. Jason Society Twitch. Who is Jason Society? Should I do Jason Society? Shark is on? What's Shark's thing then? I meant to do Shark last time. What's Shark's? Shark 30? How many people are watching? All right, let's do Shark 30. I meant to do Shark 30 last time around. And I'll get all those other people eventually, I promise. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for staying around late with me. Really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun doing this late night stream with you guys. I will see you all next time on the Scam Economy.